Hey everyone, today we're going to look real quickly at our measures of center and how we can use the TI-84 to help us find those values. Our measures of center in a data set are mean, median, and mode, and there's a couple others, but these are the ones that we're going to look at today. Um, and they're called measures of center because they're locators of places in your data set. So the median is the middle value, the mean is your average value. Um, these are in contrast to measures of spread, which talk about how spread out your data is in relative terms to the other values in the data set. So our mean, how we calculate, is just to add up all of our values in the data set. So if we have a data set x sub 1, x sub 2, x sub 3, and so on and so on, and we have n values in that data set. So our last one is going to be x sub n. The way we find that mean, which we call x bar, that's another way to write mean, just be your variable name with a line over the top of it. We're going to add all of those values up and divide by how many we have in quick math notation. We can use sigma notation. It means the sum of, from when I equals 1 to n, of x sub I. That means the exact same thing as saying x sub 1 plus x sub 2 plus x sub 3 plus so on and so on up to x sub n in a little quicker way, up to x sub n divided by n, which is how many terms we have. That's the fancy math way of saying add them all up, divide by how many you have. And mean is a value that can be skewed by extremely large or small values. So we call this a non-resistant measure of center or a non-stable measure. Median, just your middle value of a set of ordered data. Put your data in order from low to high and just find the middle value. If there's an odd number of values, it's actually going to be your middle value. And then if there's an even number, you take your middle two values and find the mean or the average of them. And median is not affected like mean is as drastically by extremely large values or small values. And then mode is just your most frequent value. So there's no formula or method. You just find the one that occurs most, and that is your mode. Over on the left here, we've got some raw data about hours slept the night before a final exam, and over on the right, we have a display of that data. So you may be given this in either way. We're just going to work with, we're going to work with both, I guess. To find our mean, we would take all those values and add them up and divide by how many we have. So we have 20 values here, and we would just add up, our 0 plus over here. I don't have a 1, but I've got a 2 plus 3 plus 4 and so on, plus 5 and all the way up to that last person that got 8 hours of sleep, and I have 20 of them. And I would total that and divide by how many I have. And so we get 111 for our total of all these values divided by 20. 5.5 repeating hours of sleep. 5 hours of sleep. Your median would be your middle value. So your median would be, I have 20 values. I would just count off here. I find for 20 values, it's going to be the average of your 10th and 11th. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 are both 6. So your median here would just be 6, the average of 6 and 6. And then your mode, the most frequent one, is also 6. And we can see that real clearly in this display. Now, when you have a group set of data, a raw set of data, we can use our calculators pretty quickly to find mean, median, and mode. First thing you do is get your calculator out and hit stat and then edit. So get our old calculator out here. I'm already in there here, but if we were at the home screen, we would hit the stat button and then edit and take us into our list editor, and then I would put all those values in. Here's all our sleep, and we don't even have to order them. 8, 6, 5, 6, 4 hours, etc. And then in that stat menu, again, once you've got all your data values entered, We can go into the stat menu. We want to go over to calculate. And the one we want is the very first one. It's one variable statistics. And this is a big statistical summary. We just put whatever list we put our data in. So we put it in L1. We'll just leave that frequency list blank for now until we get to group data. And then we go through and calculate, and there's way too much information here, but here is our mean, x bar 5.55. That sigma x is the sum of all of our data values. This is the sum of our values squared. These are standard deviations, which we'll look at later. N is how many, 20 values. And then you look down, we're going to get some more information that it's nice to know this is off the bottom of our screen, but we'll come back to that a little bit later. But we got our median there at 6, and then it won't count for you, so you're going to have to figure out the mode on your own.